Okay, so in this video we're going to talk specifically about the requirements for these macronutrients and micronutrients that we've been talking about what their fate is. Because obviously you use them in the body, so how much do you need in your daily intake? Right? So this is the field of nutrition and diet. What is the actual fate of the things that you eat is the field of nutrition. And of course then diet is how much of those things should you have. So carbohydrates, lipids, proteins used for energy, as we've talked about, and building materials. Excess is stored primarily as fat. Diet, again, is what you eat and how much. So it's about needing. This is the study of nutrition right here. Diet and dietary analysis is, what you eat and how much. So the important thing that you have to do when you consume these nutrients is remember that you have to get adequate energy, so caloric balance, and you must consume the essential nutrients for the building or anabolic processes that go on in the body. Your energy needed, again, is measured as calories, as you guys are doing a balance for your dietary summary. All right? So calories, right, is a unit of potential energy. It really, it's very important and very specific, and measured fairly precisely, again, by food labs at all the places that make the things that you purchase and go to restaurants and etc. So it is determined by a bomb calorimeter. That is the term we use in a laboratory setting with standardized equipment. So the equipment is always checked to make sure of its precision again, and that the measurement is accurate. It technically is the amount of heat needed to raise a kilogram of water 1 degree Celsius. Okay, but you don't need to know what a calorie actually is. All right, so on average, we say human needs are affected by, yes, how big you are, how old you are, as we've already talked about with the BMR, how tall, which goes into body mass, because we use your height and weight, right, to determine the BMI, which is flawed, but oh well. Sex, because, again, males and females of equal size. Males tend to have more energy needs, again, because they tend to have more muscle. Your overall activity level, and then, of course, the additional exercise that you do. So the intentional pursuit of use of these calories and building up of tissues is exercise. Consuming about 3,500 calories adds 1 pound fat. So if you have an excess of 200 calories per day, 1 pound will be gained every 18 days, which means about 20 pounds in a year. This happens more often than it should, all right? Because we do take in a lot of extra calories. Most of the time in your dietary summaries, you're not going to report this, but I have a feeling that there's a lot of inaccuracies in you guys' tracking. Just gotta be honest. All right, so this is the myplate.gov, the way the new food pyramid looks, and this is very nice and easy picture to relate to. It says, look, half your plate should be fruits and vegetables, right, period. And then a little over a quarter of the plate is grains, so complex carbs, and these are, of course, have carbohydrates and proteins and lipids in them, but carbs. And then, really a quarter of your plate at proteins. And then dairy falls in this as well. And then dairy also has a mix of, so we're not looking specifically at carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins on this. We're saying, okay, look at these food groups and think about what you're taking in. Your metabolic rate is affected by what you eat. Processing carbohydrates takes less energy than protein. So this is one of the reasons why a higher protein diet will automatically lead to the potential for more weight loss. But that doesn't make it better, okay? The guidelines for the types and quantities are according to the United States Department of Agriculture, which oversees food and food production in this country, right? Because drugs are the FDA. So fruits and vegetables, right? 5 to 6 servings daily are recommended. And that can be hard to get. This is a nice breakdown of that, so I really like this cartoon. You should have this somewhere on your refrigerator. I mean, for your kids, if you've got kids, and for yourself, to see this and think about what this means for us. All right, body mass index. All right, so this is a kind of flawed measurement, but it uses weight and height to figure out, again, this metric. All right, it's easy to do. That's why we use it. And you guys, this is a time you really do need to know numbers. All right. So if you have a body mass index of less than 19 or less, really it's 19, let's say less than 19, so 18 and below, right? See right here in the clear boxes, you are underweight, all right? Your normal weight, shown in blue here, by a 19 to 24. You are overweight from 25, right, to 29. And then you are obese if you are above 30. And this has to do with percentage of body mass. So only 30% of the U.S. population is healthy weight. Bad news. Highest level of obesity is in the southern United States, and childhood obesity is on the rise. So these are that's why this is an important topic for all of us, and why I said you need pictures of the My Plate on your refrigerator. All right? So vitamins. Vitamins are not used for calories, and they are not taken apart and utilized as building blocks typically. They are absolutely necessary as coenzymes and other participants in our chemical reactions. So we don't take apart the vitamins, we restructure them a bit to use them. We lose very little of them daily, so since we, again, don't break them down, our needs for these are much less. And so we always talk about these as our micronutrients, while proteins and fats and carbohydrates are a macronutrient. They are all considered essential, all right, especially B vitamins. And then we have bone mineral metabolism, growth and repair that require all these required vitamins. All right, can't be synthesized in adequate amounts. Sources, of course, a lot of B vitamins in grains. There's a lot of different sources for these, but these are I'm asking you guys to measure these, the niacin and thiamine and riboflavin, in your diets on your dietary summary, so you're aware of some of these. They're classified on the basis of whether or not they will go into solution in water or fat. And this matters a lot about, their chemistry matters a lot about how they come into the body and how they're stored or not stored in the body. So the fat solubles, the easy ones, are A, D, E, and K. The water soluble are your B complexes or B vitamins and vitamin C. All right, so this does affect the storage. The fat solubles A, D, E, and K can be stored, and often are stored associated with fats in places like the liver or adipose tissue. All right, the water solubles are not stored and are therefore, if you do not use them, you lose them. Right, they are peed away on a regular basis. All right, all vitamins have a toxic level. All vitamins have a deficiency. So there's over consumption and there's under consumption, or deficiencies and surpluses, and that's why we ask you to look at that in your dietary summaries. All right, so this table goes through, right, the different fat-soluble vitamins, sources of these, which I won't ask you. RDAs you can always look up, so you don't need to know these from me. And vitamin A is reported as international units or micrograms. They're different units and different numbers, right? Here it goes through the function of these, and I often say to students, look, if you had to know the function of this, you had to know about this function for this vitamin in a previous chapter, you need to know about it now. So vitamin A, you did know from retinol in the eye. All right, this also helps you with the development of the integument and the bone. All right, vitamin D you knew because of its role in calcium absorption and how the activity of vitamin D is influenced by parathyroid hormone. Vitamin E you didn't have to know previously, so I'm not going to ask you to know, but it is known best as an antioxidant. It actually helps prevent oxidation reactions, inappropriate oxidation reactions. It helps to minimize their damage. And then vitamin K we knew from blood clotting, and this also assists with bone health. All of them, again, deficiencies have a problem, surpluses have a problem. So, but I'm again not going to ask that on a test. Your water-soluble vitamins, I say that some of these are unstable. So the fat-soluble tend to be very stable. That's why when you cook or process food, the vitamin content for fat-soluble remains. Not so true for water-soluble. So you have to be very careful about this, especially if you're relying on canned items, because those are heated and the chemistry is altered. The chemistry of the solutions are altered, which affect the stability of the vitamins. So some are unstable in heat. Many are affected by UV light, so sunlight, acids, bases, and oxidation, and that destroys them. And so you don't get the nutrient, which is a lot of times why you have heard eat things raw, right? Not processed or cooked. Not stored, so excesses are often excreted or limited in their uptake. So again, if you have everything you need, your body just doesn't take it up, and so that vitamin that you ate would stay in your feces. If you did take it up, but your body didn't need it, it would be peed away in your urine. All right, so here are some of the B vitamins. I had to break the table up here. B1, thiamine, 2, riboflavin, 3, niacin, 5, pantothenic acid, and 6, pyridoxine. Sorry. All right. You again don't have to know the RDAs for these functions. What I tell students is just know that all B vitamins are involved in metabolic pathways, some sort of synthesis here in all these cases, or metabolism. So extremely important. All right, and we specifically saw this with riboflavin and niacin in as coenzymes right here and here. Deficiencies are documented, and so again, you don't have to know this for a test, but should know this for your own health. B7 is biotin, 9 is folic acid, and 12 is cyanocobalamin. And these are all, right, we talked about these two for blood cells, right? So protein synthesis of hemoglobin, right, red blood cell production. So we've already known their roles, but again, metabolism. So we say that the B vitamins are important for metabolic processes or pathways because they're coenzymes. Vitamin C, or ascorbic acid, this is collagen production. So number one connective tissue in the body, absolutely have to have vitamin C for that. And please know that for your test. This helps with wound healing and teeth production as well. All right, your minerals are inorganic elements. So they are basically, right, you're just these small, again, micronutrients in the sense you don't need lots of them. And it means that you're not going to take these apart. So they're still essential. You can't make them in the body, and you don't break them down in the body. They're usually taken up by plants from the soil that they grow in, and incorporated into the tissues of plants, which either you eat the plant or you eat an animal that has bioconcentrated the element in its muscle tissue. They are responsible for about 4% of your body weight. The major ones, and you should know the major ones from the trace ones. The major ones are potassium, calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, chloride, calcium, phosphorus. All right, and and chloride, with calcium and phosphorus the most common. So this is what we put into bone, right? So potassium, neural function; calcium, bones and neuromuscular function; phosphorus into ATPs and phospholipids and nucleic acids; magnesium, this really helps us synthesize ATP; and of course chloride goes with our sodium, and sodium belongs in this list too. I don't know why I don't have it here, but anyway. Homeostatic mechanisms regulate the concentration of these in our body fluids, right? We used aldosterone to control potassium and sodium. So forgive me, sodium does belong on here, all right? So you have a table for this on page 1192. Know the 6 and know the functions of sodium, potassium, and calcium, because we've talked a lot about these. And this really is the functions of neuromuscular electrical potential, and also they help us with our osmotic pressures. Trace minerals, you need a lot less of these. On page 1193, it shows these. Know the 11 examples and know the functions of iron, sulfur, fluoride, and iodine. Because again, we've talked about these. Iron in hemoglobin, sulfur in proteins, fluoride in your teeth, and iodine for thyroxine and triiodothyronine. Okay? So be able to tell me on a test which ones of the minerals are major ones and which ones are trace ones. All right, so we're going to skip the Kahoots, and we are done. Yes, because we'll do Kahoots in class. Hopefully we'll have time for that. But please take a look at this. Bring any questions you have to class. Let me know what you don't get.